Hello everyone. A few days ago, I just submitted a new standard to Ethereum that will deal with financial bonds as financial instruments that represent a debt. So in this standard, as you can see here, the standard interface contains all characteristics of the bond, like the ISIN, the name, the symbol, decimal, and also all functions that allow to transfer or to approve bonds. For example, the approve function here allow to approve a third party that will be in charge of managing bonds of an owner, for example. And the transfer function here, this transfer function allows to transfer bonds from a user to another user. So in this video, what I'm showing is a small application, decentralized application that I've created on top of the ERC or the standard that I've proposed or submitted to Ethereum, and still waiting for the standard to be approved. So let's start. Here is the contract. So I call it ERC-7092. So this number here is, of course, the number that has been attributed by Ethereum to the new standard that I submitted. So, of course, the standard will be called ERC-7092. So I created this contract, and the contract imports, as you can see here, the new standard that I submitted. So it allows, the contract allows to issue bonds, to redeem bonds, and so on, to transfer and so on. So in this video, what I'm going to show you is how a bond manager can create or issue bonds to investors, and also the ability to transfer bonds from one user to from a user to another user. So let's start. So here, as you can see, here's the deployment script. You can see that in the deployment script, I call the bond contract that I've created to deploy a new bond contract. So this is the issuer information. The name of the issuer name, so is Green Energy, is email, is here, the country, and the headquarters, the issuer type, which is a corporation, the credit rating of the issuer, the carbon credit, and also the issuer address. So when deploying this contract here, it will automatically define some information about the issuer. So let's start by deploying the contract. I will come here and tap threshold. So I have the command here. So the command is that threshold migrate network development reset. When I click on enter, and as you can see, now the contract is deployed. So when deploying the contract, as I said, the issuer of the bond has been stored in the contract. So if we go to the decentralized application here, we can see that we have this page here, which is the issuer page. The name of the issuer is Green Energy, as in the contract, as we define it here. So the issuer name is Green Energy. The email is this one, so we can go back to the decentralized application and check that all information, like type, which is a corporation, the issuer is corporation, the credit rating, A, the issuer carbon credit, which is 1,500. So now that the ERC or the bond contract has been issued, we can, the bond manager, because when we issue the bond, we give a right to the bond manager to issue bonds. So when we issue the bond contract, we give a right to the bond manager. The issuer gives a right to the bond manager to issue bonds. So if we look at here, we can see that we have some issuer info, but also in the issuer info, we define, when deploying the contract, we define the bond manager. We can see it in the constructor here. So in the constructor, we define a variable called bond manager, this one. So the bond manager, which is the contract. So the bond manager, it is here, which is the address that deployed the bond contract. So we, at this stage, we know the bond manager address and also the issuer information. So if we go back here to the decentralized application, we can see that this page, so this account, which is account 2, the account 2 is for the issuer account. So if we connect to this account 2, we can check all information about the issuer, like the issuer name, Green Energy, as I said, the issuer type, corporation, the issuer credit rating, AAA, and the issuer carbon credit, which is 1,500. So we also know that during deployment, the bond manager, which is the address that will be in charge of managing the bonds, the issuer bonds, has been defined. So if we go to the account 2, I know that the bond manager is the account 2 because I know the address that I've set for this account. So let's go to account 1, which is the bond manager. We can see here that we just changed the account, and this account is, of course, for the bond manager, as you can see here on left corner here. So in this page allows to issue bonds. So only the bond manager can issue bonds to user. So now we are going to issue bonds, and before we do that, I'm going to show you the script that allows to issue bonds. So where is the script? So let's go to manager, and as you can see in this script, I call issue bond somewhere here. So I call this function here, contract method. So issue, which is a method defined or a function defined in the bond contract. We can go back to the bond contract, and here you can see that we have, of course, the issue function that allows to issue bonds. So let's go back, and we see that in this script, we call the issue function to issue bonds to issue to some investors. So let's check this issue data. As you can see, the issue data is an array of two objects. So the first object represents one investor, and the second object represents another investor. So we have to define two investors to whom we are going to issue bonds. So remember that. So let's go back to the decentralized application, and now the bond manager is going to issue bonds to two investors. So let's enter bond information, like the IC first. So let's say that this is from France, and just a random IC. Okay, so the name, the bond name, for the bond name, okay, let's say Green Energy 50, Green Energy, so Green Energy 50. For the bond symbol, let's say GE50. What about the currency? So for the currency is the address of the currency that will be, or the cryptocurrency that will be used as currency. Okay, it's just a current address for a given contract, and here we are going to assume that we use the USDC as the bond, sorry, as the principal currency. So for the currency, I'll just copy one of my address here. Let's say I'm just copying this one. Okay, let's go back to 1. So here, so for the currency, I put this address, and the currency of coupon, I put same address. So let's go back to the IC. Oh, let's put one down. So for the name, I say it was green energy 50. For the symbol, green energy 50. And for the decimal, I put 0. I don't need decimal. For the bond denomination, which is the minimum amount that that investor need to invest for bonds. So for this one, I'm going to put 100. So for the issuer volume, remember this denomination is expressed in the currency here. So if the currency is USDC, then the denomination is 100 USDC. So the issue volume, how much bonds are we going to create? So the issue volume should be in denomination unite, right? So now just say I'm going to create 500. This means that we are creating 500 bonds. And in terms of the currency here, it means that we are going to create a debt or a loan that worth 500 multiplied by 100, which is 50,000 USDC. So for the coupon rates, for the coupon rates are expressed in bips. So we are going to express the coupon rate here in bips, which is 500. This means the coupon rate is 5%. So for the coupon type, this information, it could be like fixed rate or floating rate or so on. So I just put 1. For the coupon frequency, it will be a semi-annual. So I put 2. So coupons will be paid twice a year. So for the issue date, this is the issue date. Let's go and say, okay, we are going to issue today. And for the maturity, we know that the bond, this is the green energy 50. 50 means 2050. So let's choose 2050 here. This is the maturity date, right? So let's go here, and we know June. Okay. And for the day count basis, let's select something like 0. I'll explain. And now let's click on issue. You can see that we need to confirm the transaction. Once we confirm the transaction, so now we can see that the bond has been issued, right? We can see the bond information, the issuer, green energy, the ISIN, which is here, the bond name, which is green energy 50, the bond symbol, which is GE15, the denomination, which is 100 USDC, the coupon rate, which is 5%, and the volume, which is 500, and also the maturity date here. You can see for the maturity date is, of course, 2050. So next, we know that we just issue bonds to 2 investors, right? So we can go and check the investor's address if they got their bond. So I know that the investor address are 3 and 4. So address 3 for the first investor and address 4 for the second investor. So let's click, for example, for to investor account 3, which is the first investor. So here we are. You can see that this investor has a bond, right? So this is a bond. We just issue a bond to this investor, and you can see bond information like the issuer name, which is green energy, and this symbol, so logo here, the bond name, green energy 50, the IC, the coupon rate, the denomination, which is 100 USDC, the coupon frequency, which is twice a year, means that this is a semi-annual bond, the maturity date, which is 2050, and the balance. So the balance is how much tokens this issuer has in the wallet. So here we know that the issuer, the price. So we have 400 of these bonds with this symbol. The bond symbol is GE50. So this user has 400 GE50, and since the denomination is 100, then the principal, which is the amount invested by this investor, is the balance is equal to the balance multiplied by the principal, which is 40,000 USDC. We also know that there is another investor. So let's go to, remember, the volume is 500. So since this user has 400, then we expect the second investor to have 100 GE50, right? So let's go to the second investor here, which is 4. Here, so we can check, we can see that this investor has a bond, and the bond was 10,000 USDC. So everything is working fine till now. So next, what I'm going to do is to transfer bonds to another user. For example, we are going to transfer some bonds from this from this investor 3 was 400 USDC to another user. So let's go and check, for example, this account here, which is account 5, and we can see that for this account we have nothing. So this user or this account has no bonds, right? No bonds, right? So remember, this is account 5, and we don't have this account doesn't have any bonds. So let's go back to account 3, and transfer, let's say, 200 GE50, right, to account 3. To do so, I'm going to take this account. I'm copying now the account address, so the account 5 address. So I just copy the account and go back to account 3. So to transfer bonds, I need to pass the address where I'm going to transfer the bonds, right? So I'm going to pass the account 5, and I need to say how much amount I need to transfer. Remember, you can transfer only amount which are multiple of denomination. So the denomination is 100. This means that we can transfer only 100, 200, 300, and so on. We cannot transfer like 30 bonds or 30 GE50. We cannot do that. Each amount you need to transfer should be or must be in denomination unit, right? Unit. So, okay, let's transfer like 200. Remember, let's check here. This account has this account now are 400 GE50, right? So I'm going to transfer 200 GE50 to account 5, right? Let's click on transfer and confirm. Remember, have a look at it. Now the balance is 400 GE50. So if we transfer 200, expect this account to have 200 remaining, right? So let's confirm. Once we confirm, we can see that the balance of this user is now 200 GE50, and also the principal has decreased to 20,000 USDC. And what is interesting here is to go to account 5 that I showed you, and we know that this account has no bounds. And now that we transfer 200 GE50 to that account, let's go and check if the account has received the bounds. So we know that it's account 5. So to make the transition, going to account 6, for example, we see that this account doesn't have any bound, and we go to account 5 that we saw previously that has no bound, but we know that we just transfer some bounds to that account 5. So let's go and check account 5, and here we can see that now this account has received 200 GE15 transferred from account 3, right? So the transfer function is working. What does it mean? This means that these bonds, the bonds created through EIP or ERC-7092 can be traded in the secondary market, right? Because when we trade assets in the secondary market, what we're doing is just someone, for example, want to buy an asset. He needs to send money to the owner, and the owner will transfer the ownership of the asset to the new owner, right? So this is exactly what we have seen here. So the account 3 has transferred some of his bonds to a new address, and we can see here that the new address just received the bond that has been transferred. So what about if this account here transfers all his bonds to or all the bond to someone else? So what we're going to do is let's check here account 6, for example. We can see that the account 6 has no bound, right? So let's go back to account 5, which has 200 G15, and let's transfer all the bonds of this account to account 6. So first we need to copy the account 6 address. So remember, account 6 has no bonds right now. So let's go back to account 5. Account 5, it has some bonds, and let's transfer all the balance to account 6, right? All the balance of account 5. So this is account 5. So we know that this address has 200 G50. So we are going to transfer 200. So at the end, when we transfer all the bond, we expect that this user will have 0 bound. So no bound will remain in his wallet, right? So let's click on transfer. We are transferring all the bond of this user. Confirm. So here we can see that now that the user has transferred all of his bond, or all of the bond, no bonds remain in the wallet, right? And let's go and check the address 6, right? Address 6. Here, so now the address 6 has just received 200 GE50 from the address 5, right? So the transfer function is working perfectly. And we can even transfer back to address 3. I'm going to copy the address 3. So we can see that now the address 3 has 200 GE50. So let's go to, let's copy the address and go to address 6 and transfer, maybe not all, but a part of this, 100. Click on transfer, confirm. Now it just got 100, and if we go to address 3, we expect this address to have now free under EE15. So the transfer function is working fine. We just see in this video that the issuer can issue bonds through the ERC-5092, remember the number. And once the bond has been issued, we can go check the issuer information. For example, here we check the issuer information, and also we can go to the bond manager account to see that bonds. Sorry, we need to fetch bonds has been issued to some investor, and we can check the bond information which are here, and we can go to investor to check the balance. Investor free to check the balance and to visualize the bonds that has been issued to them. And also we can use this form here to transfer bonds from an investor to another investor. So we stop here, and thank you for watching.